We will be doing a third grade lesson over the water cycle. Okay, so just to warm up our brains, we talked about the water cycle yesterday. So we're going to go ahead and fill out the water cycle. So what's the first step in the water cycle? Lorena?
Evaporation.
Evaporation. Go ahead and write that up there for me. All right, perfect. Thank you. So we go from evaporation to, Grayson?
Condensation.
Condensation. Perfect, thank you. So water collects in the cloud and it gets too heavy, so it, Casey?
Precipitation.
Precipitation. Lorena?
Isn't precipitation like rain or snow or sleet?
Yeah, those are all kinds of different types of precipitation. Absolutely, good job. So when the water, or when the it starts to rain and it precipitates, what happens here?
Ooh, I remember you said something about it's pointing down, so it's running. It's
Run-
runoff.
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 Perfect. Go ahead and write that for me. Awesome, thank you. And our last step, so it starts to run off the land, and then
It collects.
it collects. So what does it collect in?
Oceans?
Oceans? Are there different types of places that water collects besides just oceans? Is that the only one? Grayson?
Like lakes or rivers?
Lakes and rivers. What about puddles? Is that even though it's kind of small and we splash it in, is that still like a type of
Yeah.
collection?
Because the water can still evaporate from the puddles.
Because the water can still evaporate from the puddles. Does it evaporate faster from the ocean or from a puddle?
Puddle. The ocean's still
a
there.
puddle. Absolutely. Good job. You're absolutely right. The ocean doesn't really go anywhere, does it? Okay, so the first step in our water cycle we said is evaporation. What starts that process of evaporation? Casey?
The sun.
The sun. What do we know about the sun? Yeah, Casey.
It's hot.
The sun is hot. Okay, good job. What else do we know about the sun? Grayson?
It's in space.
The sun is in space. Okay, so the sun's in space. What do you think the sun is then if it's in space? What do you think the sun is? Lorena?
Things in space are stars.
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 The sun is a star. Great job. The sun is a star. So energy, or stars give off energy. And so if I say that the sun is giving off heat energy, what do we think that means? Energy, like we talked about yesterday, energy is when something changes something else. If I say that the sun has heat energy, what does that mean? What do you think that means? Heat energy. Grayson?
That the heat energy is changing the water.
The heat energy is changing the water. How is it changing the water?
Through evaporation.
Through evaporation, because the evaporation, it goes from water to a
Condensation.
condensation. And what is condensation?
When the water.
Casey?
It's like water vapor.
It's water vapor. We talked about that yesterday, right? When it condensates, it becomes water vapor in the clouds, and the water vapor gets too heavy, so it precipitates.
And then runs off. And then collects.
Okay, and so then what starts the water cycle all over again?
It starts back in evaporation, which was caused by the star, the sun, the heat energy.
The heat energy.
Yeah.
I like what you said. I'm going to put it right here so we don't forget.
So it starts with heat energy, right?
And energy. It does. And heat energy is what starts the water cycle. Because if we didn't have the sun, would the water evaporate?
I don't think so.
What do you think would happen if we never had the sun? What would happen? happen if this wasn't here? Casey,
Well,
what
there
would happen?
There wouldn't be any heat energy, so it couldn't evaporate.
You're right. And then if it couldn't evaporate, would it?
It couldn't go into
It
the.
couldn't do anything. It wouldn't do anything else.
The cycle would
Yeah.
never start.
The cycle would never start. So do you think it would ever rain?
No.
Would it ever snow?
No.
No.
Sleet?
No.
So what do you think is the most important thing in the water cycle besides water?
The
The
sun.
The sun, because without the sun we wouldn't have
The heat energy.
the heat
That
energy.
makes sense. So like the heat of the sun evaporates the water, which starts the water cycle.
It does. So if we didn't, okay, let's go back to that scenario where we had no sun and we said it would never rain. How long do you think we would last on Earth without any rain?
Well,
Casey?
I think our water would get pretty dirty.
Our water would get really dirty because it kind of gets cleaned out through the water cycle, right? And then what do you think about our crops and like farming and stuff like that? What do you think would happen if it didn't rain? Grayson?
Nothing could grow without the rainwater.
Nothing would be able to grow without the rainwater, right? All right, that's some really good thinking skills right there, guys. So I want you guys to go ahead and go back to your desk, and I want you to write a scenario when we didn't have the sun. What you think would happen to us in a week, in a month, and then in a year? Where do you think we would be without the sun and the water cycle? All right? Good job, guys. Thank you.